Hey everybody. Hope everybody is doing well tonight. Good to see everybody here. It is Monday. We are back to our Missing Person Monday live stream. And tonight, as usual, my farm signal is very, very sketchy. So I'm not using my cam tonight and couldn't get StreamYard to come up on my computer. So we just got the basics, but we will go with what we have to work with as usual. Hope everybody has had a good week last week and a good weekend this weekend. I'm tired. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired. I've been working a lot. But anyway, so tonight we are going to be featuring, I think I have 9 cases from California tonight. So we'll be talking about California. But before we get started, and I also wanted to mention, and we're going to do a True Crime After Dark Friday to talk more about this. But yesterday was 4 years since Jamie Valdez has been missing from here in Arkansas. And yesterday was also 30 years that Morgan Nick has been missing. So Friday, we're going to do a special True Crime After Dark, talk about Jamie, talk about Morgan, and then whatever else happens to come up. So unless something comes up, and I apologize for having to postpone. It is Tuesday, actually. We usually do this on Monday, but we had something, some family stuff come up last night, last minute. Nothing bad, just spending some time with family, and so I just postponed it till tonight. So I hope everybody understands, and I apologize for that, but we are here tonight. So let's see. Let me quit babbling and let's see who we have here. Chris is here. Always good to see you, Chris. Miss Paula is here. Hello, Miss Paula. I hope you're doing well. Always good to see you. Mustang is here. Hello, Mustang. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Just make sure I don't miss anybody. Yes, it's Tuesday. Yeah, I forgot what day it was. Yes, it is Tuesday. Um, but yeah, actually, what? Nothing bad happened, but my nephew decided that he was going to go out, fly out of state today, to go out of state to spend some of the summer with some family we have out of state. So we just wanted to spend a little bit of time with him last night before he left. So that is why it is postponed till Tuesday. You are more than welcome. Miss Stain says, thanks, Southern Gal. You're about the only safe chat anymore. Yes, we like to keep it drama free around here as much as possible. I think we do a pretty good job. All right, I think we are caught up. So forgive me, I'm working from my phone tonight, so we'll try not to punch any buttons and to put us in any too bad of dumpster fires tonight. So like I said, we are talking about California tonight. I have 9 cases, and unfortunately, I was not able to find a lot of extra information on a lot of these cases, except for just what was on the Trolley Project. Now, there are a few towards the end that I did find a couple of articles, but Trolley Project's better than nothing. So we will work with what we have to work with. So first, we have Genevieve Catherine Alexander. Genevieve has been missing since April 4th, 2013, from Fort Bragg, California. She is a white female. She was just 30 years old when she went missing. She will be 42 years old as of 2025. At the time she went missing, she was 5'6" tall, 115 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes. Her nickname is Jenny. And her last known clothing was a maroon fleece jacket, dark colored pants, and dark colored sneakers. So Jenny was last seen by her boyfriend walking away from their residence at the Pomo RV Park and Campground in Fort Bragg around 3:30 p.m. on April 4th, 2013. Her boyfriend did report her missing at around 10:30 p.m. and the police launched a search of the area, but unfortunately that search turned up no sign of her. Authorities resumed the search the next morning and learned that at around 4 p.m. on April 4th, a person who lived next to the Mendocino Coast Botanical Gardens in the 18200 block of North Highway 1 had noticed someone matching Genevieve's physical description and wearing similar clothes trespassing on their property. Bloodhounds did track a scent from the site of the trespassing down a trail to the beach, where police did find Genevieve's pants floating in the water. No other items were recovered. There were no other indication of her whereabouts. And after that, she has never been seen or heard from again. She has never been found. And just let me make sure I didn't have anything else on her. No. So if you do have any information regarding Genevieve, you can call the Mendocino County Sheriff's Department at 707-463-4086. And just off the top of my head, my first on the top of my list, it's just my opinion, would be somehow she went into the water, maybe, because it said that they did find her pants floating in the water. Nothing else was found, but I don't know why they would only find her pants floating in the water and nothing else, no other clothing items. But water is a strange thing, it's very, very hard most of the time to find somebody or something, such as vehicles, in the water. But please do let me know or in the chat what you guys think. I know you guys always have opinions. Let me see if I think somebody snuck in on me here. Let's see. There's Miss Doodle. Hello, Miss Doodle. Good to see you, Doodlebug, one of my favorite humans. I hope you're doing well, ma'am. Oh, Chris says he's found a suspicious case that is upsetting him. What case is it? Um, absolutely. Chris says thoughts and prayers to the families. Absolutely. Hello, Miss Doodle. I always love having Miss Doodle here. All right. All right. So that was Genevieve. Like I said, unfortunately, Charlie Project information was the only information I was able to find on her. So next we have oh no, wait a minute. Maybe I did. Hold on. Back up. Maybe I did have a little bit about Genevieve. Let me check and make sure I have the right article. If it will load. Like I said, my farm signal's very sketchy tonight as usual. It's telling me just a moment. Oh goodness. How's everybody's weather been? Oh, okay. So the site's got to verify that I'm a human. It's been weather here's been okay. It's supposed to start raining. I think we have another couple of days of nice weather, and then it's supposed to start raining again this weekend. Oh, Chris says he'll put the case that I'm not going to talk about here because it's upsetting to others. All right, you can messenger me it if you want to. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Okay, the site is Chris says it's been hot in Kansas. Yeah, it's been well, I don't know. It's kind of been abnormal Arkansas weather here. Um, but then what is normal weather in Arkansas? Oh goodness. So we might not get this article. It's still trying to verify that I'm human. Um, yes, Mustang says prayers for the families of the missing people. Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds like Arkansas. Doodle says here it's been tornadoes, rain, sunshine. Yep. Wait around 5 minutes, 5 seconds. The weather will change. Well, I think I may give up on this article because it is still trying to verify if I'm human. All right. All right. So we will move forward to. Yeah, Mustang says that is true. Weather changes with the drop of a hat. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So. All right. We will move on to. This should be Christina Sue Allen. This may be the oldest case we have tonight. Maybe. Christina has been missing since February 28th, 1976, from Los Angeles, California. She is a white female. She was just 24 years old at the time she went missing. She'll be 73 years old as of 2025. At the time she went missing, she was 5'7" tall, 120 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes. It says that she has a pin implanted in her lower leg and a pin implanted in her skull, with a resulting surgical scar on her forehead. I don't know if this was from a surgery or an accident. Her ears are pierced. She may use the nickname Christie and the last name Capasso and or McClure. Last known clothing was jeans and a silver ring with a black onyx stone, and she was carrying only her wallet and her keys. So Christina, scant information here. Christina was last seen in Los Angeles on February 28th, 1976. She and her brother went to a bar in the Venice Beach area. She left the bar alone to walk back to her apartment. She never arrived there. She has never been seen or heard from again. Few details are available in her case. So if you have any information regarding Christina's case, you can call the Los Angeles Police Department at 213-996-1800. Let me see. Nope, I did not have any, was not able to find any other articles for this one. So yes, very, very scant information, unfortunately, but it's better than nothing. Better than nothing. I think some more people snuck in on me here. Hold on. Right, I'll do that, Chris. I will read it, absolutely. There's Arctic. Hey, buddy, how are you doing? You're not late. You're fine. Once again, as usual, the normal stuff is happening. My farm signal's very sketchy, dumpster fires, all that good stuff. The usual. Let's see. Hey, Crimezilla, good to see you here. Says, hey there, I'm here. Got laid off. Oh, goodness, got laid off last night from work. Been a little crazy. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's happening a lot lately, unfortunately. But I'm glad to have you here. Absolutely. So bear with me. I'm trying to read the comments off my phone here. Oh. Oh, so the company that you work for closed down. Everybody was laid off. That's terrible. That is terrible. Oh goodness. Artie says I did my first live on TikTok today. Talk about a dumpster fire. I have done nothing. I've not posted anything on TikTok. All I do is share absolutely any and all of the true crime missing person stuff that comes across my For You page or whatever it's called. And I do share, music, I share true crime music, music stuff, and funny animal and people videos. That's about all I do on TikTok. Oh goodness. So I'm gonna have to go. I'll get on TikTok after we get off here, and I'll can you watch it? Is it still available after? Like I said, I know next to nothing about TikTok. Is it like on YouTube? Can you be like replay crew, or can you just watch it when it's live? Yeah, Doodle says, I bet it's complicated. Yes. Heck, I'm still trying to figure out YouTube and StreamYard sometimes. Oh goodness. All right, so I think we're caught up. All right, so we did Christina. So next we have should be, if I have everything in order, Bobby Dale Allen. Once again, Charlie Project was the only thing I was able to find. Oh man, or to say no, once it's over, it's gone. Dadgummit, I missed it. All right, so this is Bobby Dale Allen. He's been missing since August 15th, 1986 from Adelanto, California. He is an Asian biracial white male. He was just 23 years old when he went missing. He will be 62 years old as of 2025. At the time he went missing, he was 5'9" to 5'11" inches tall, 150 to 170 pounds, with dark brown hair and brown eyes. He is of Japanese descent. He has a tattoo on his right bicep, and I think I forgot to put the tattoo on the slide. So he has a tattoo on his right bicep of a black cougar with red scratch marks. He wears contact lenses or eyeglasses, and he does have a scar by his right eyebrow. And it gives no known last clothing that he was wearing. So Bobby was last seen in the Adelanto, California area, or in Adelanto, California on August 15th, 1986. He was in the Navy. He was assigned to the USS William Bates, which was a nuclear submarine, which was at the naval base in San Diego at the time. He disappeared after leaving to go to the naval base. He never arrived, and he has never been seen or heard from again. After his disappearance, his 1985 Ford Mustang was found in the 2200 block of North Harbor Boulevard Drive in San Diego with the keys still inside of it. Once again, a few details are available in Bobby's case. He was listed as AWOL from the Navy. And when his family tried to file a missing persons report, the police refused to take it because of his AWOL status. Now, I know military police, they have their own system that they go by, but still, I mean, but his family was finally able to report him missing in 2014. So the last time he was seen was in 1986, and an official missing persons report was not able to be filed until 2014. Obviously, his case remains unsolved. So if you have any information, you can call the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department at 760-552-6800. Let me see if I had any. No additional information aside from that. So the question is, did he go AWOL or did something happen to him? I said that with this limited information, don't really know much about his personality, his habits, his, what his state of mind was, things of that nature. All right. Get caught up again. Hey, Sunday Doodles. Oh, there we go. There you're out. There you are. Good to see you here. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Paula says she's doing good and praying for everyone in LA right now. Absolutely. I knew Arctic was going to have a comment about the Mustang. He says, well, we know he had good taste because he drove a Mustang. Just saying. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and for my member, speaking of Mustang, a Little Biscuit has a little brother or a brother, came out of the same litter, who lives with my brother and my nephew. And when we had game night Friday night, he was the keeper of the Yahtzee box. So he tried to fit his big butt inside the Yahtzee box, and I posted some pictures to my members only, to the community tab. So that whole litter, I'm telling you, that whole litter is broken. They're all broken. Yeah, Doodle was waiting on the Mustang comment too. Chris says he's batting on the ladder. Sunday Doodle said they're in the bushes doing chores. All right. So unfortunately, I said that is about all we have on Bobby. So we will go to this should be Mary Louise Andress. Need a drink right quick. Welcome to everybody that's here. Welcome if you're new here. If this is your first time, welcome lurkers. Hello, replay crew. If you're watching on replay crew, we love our replay crew. No, Paula, I was not live on Friday. No, this past Friday, we had our family game night. We have our family game night every other Friday. But I will be live for anybody who's just coming in. I will be, and if nothing comes up, last minute, I am planning on doing a True Crime After Dark. We'll be talking about Jamie Valdez. Yesterday was the 4th anniversary of he I can't talk. He has been missing for 4 years as of yesterday, and then Morgan Nick has been missing for 30 years as of yesterday. So Friday, barring anything coming up, we will be doing I'll be doing a live stream where we'll be talking about Jamie's case. Morgan, talking about Morgan, 30-year anniversary of Morgan, 4-year anniversary of Jamie Valdez being missing from here in Arkansas, and then just anything else that needs to be discussed that happens to come up. So we will be looking forward to that. All right, so this is Mary Louise Andrus. She has been missing since August 20th, 1987 from Davis, California. She's a white female. She was 37 years old at the time she went missing. She would be 75 years old as of 2025. At the time she went missing, she was 5'4" tall and 130 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes. It said one of her upper front teeth is chipped. She wore a size 7 shoe, size 34 bra. She wears pants with a 29-inch waist. So that is some very detailed information. It does say that she did have self-harm ideations at the time of her disappearance. She was last seen wearing a tan jacket or sweater, blue jeans, and small yellow earrings with a white stone. So Mary Louise was last seen on August 20th, 1987. She left Davis, California in a distraught state after an argument, and she has never been heard from again. And I don't think it says who she was actually arguing with. On September 5th, a fish and game officer found her car parked on a forest road in the Beaver Creek area in the Klamath National Forest in Siskiyou County, California. He contacted her family in Davis. They reported her missing. A local law enforcement reported having seen her vehicle where it had been found as early as August 20th, and a Klamath River area store owner reported seeing her at the store in late August. So, yes, she was reported missing on August 20th. The store owner said that Mary Louise asked about local campgrounds. A search of the Beaver Creek area turned up no indication of her whereabouts. She is considered missing under suspicious circumstances, and her case remains unsolved. So if you have any information regarding Mary Louise's case, you can call the Siskiyou County Sheriff's Department at 530-841-2900. And let me see. Nope. Once again, no more additional information, unfortunately, except for the Charlie Project. I know I saw some people sneak in on me. Let me get. Hey, Miss Heather Brown. She says, "Hi, Southern Gal. I wanted to pop on and say hi. I missed you on Dave. Yes, on Dave's live. Hope you're well. Good to see everyone. Yes, I'm well. I've just, it's getting so hard. I guess I don't know if I'm getting older. Just like I said, I've been working a lot lately, and I just can't hardly stay up past 10 o'clock anymore. And so I have been missing Dave's lives. I promise I will get back. I feel so bad. I apologize to Dave and everybody, all the night owls, as I call us, for not being there. But I'm going to try my best to get back there on a regular basis. I so miss Dave and his lives. They're so wonderful. Please do check out Dave. If you're not a night owl, can't stay up late, please do watch replay. Check out all these wonderful creators. Arctic, Crimezilla's here, Miss Paula. You can go to the homepage of my channel and go down to visit our friends, and we have all our friend channels listed. Please do visit each and every one of them. But yes, hopefully soon I will be able to get back to Dave. I feel so bad. Dave's going to think I deserted him. There's Mr. Junior Johnson. Oh, no, I don't want to delete his comment. Hello, Junior. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. And he is in Michigan. Sometimes he's in Michigan. Sometimes he's in Kentucky. He is in Michigan currently. Let's see. Just getting caught up. Thank you, ma'am. I've missed you guys too. So much, so much. See, Arctic understand. Arctic says, I've turned into my grandfather asleep by 9 p.m., up by 5 a.m. Now, I may be asleep by 9 p.m. There ain't no way I'm up by 5 a.m. unless, well, inevitably I have to, with my old bladder, I have to get up, 20 times to use the restroom during the night. That's about the only time I'm up at 5 a.m. is I have to get up and use the bathroom. But yeah, I just, by 9 or 10 o'clock, I'm ready to lay down and put something on the TV or put some music on and just go to sleep. I'm getting so old. Oh, goodness. Thank you, Miss Doodle. There is Arctic's channel. And there's Miss Paula's channel. And there is Miss Doodle's channel. Thank you guys for getting all these links in for me. And of course, there is our Dave's channel. All right, I think I'm caught up. So, all right, that was Mary Louise. Next we have, this should be Dixie Lee Aronson, I believe. Yes. All right, so this is Dixie Lee Aronson. She's been missing a lot in August, since August 25th, 1968. So this is the oldest one. The one earlier was from 78, I believe. So this one is from 1968. Dixie has been missing, once again, since August 25th, 1968, from Los Angeles, California. She is a white female. She was just 20 years old when she went missing. She'll be 77 years old as of 2025. At the time she disappeared, she was 5'6" tall, 135 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. She wears eyeglasses and cannot see well without them. Keep that in mind. And her eyeglasses were left behind when she went missing. So Dixie was last seen at Hillcrest Christian Church, on Rinaldi Street in the Granada Hills neighborhood of Los Angeles at around 7:30 a.m. on Sunday, August 25th, 1968. She left home to prepare a church bulletin and has never been heard from again. Her blue car was found parked outside the church at around 9:15 a.m. Her keys were in the church office. Her eyeglasses were on the office floor, and the electric typewriter was running, but there was no indications of a struggle. Her olive brown, 14-inch long envelope-style purse disappeared with her. There has been no activity on her checking account since her disappearance, and her passport was left behind, and she would not have been able to see well without her glasses. So she had gotten married only 2 months before she disappeared. She lived with her husband on Zelzal Avenue in Los Angeles. Her husband was an associate youth minister at the church. It said that she did not normally prepare church bulletins on Sundays, but usually did them on Thursdays and Fridays. So her father theorized that someone followed her to the church office and attacked her there. And no suspects have ever been named in her disappearance, and her case remains unsolved. So I kind of, this is just my opinion, I would kind of maybe theorize the same thing that her father did, even though it says there is no signs of a struggle. But with her eyeglasses were on the floor, the typewriter was running. I mean, she wasn't a big gal. She was, well, 5'6", 135 pounds. But I mean, you could snatch someone very easily and not really leave a whole lot of sign of any kind of struggle. And it said her keys were left behind. But anyway, if you have any information, you can call the Los Angeles Police Department at 818-756-8861. let me get caught up in comments. Yes, missing from a. We'll show it. There it is. Yes, missing from a church. And it said that she did not normally prepare the bulletin. Was it? Yeah, the bulletins on Sundays because you usually use them on need them for Sunday. But she said she usually prepared them on Thursdays and Fridays. So, and then, like I said, her father theorized that someone followed her to the church and attacked her there. So, and once again, that is the only information we have. Yes, very, very suspicious. Absolutely. Oops. Absolutely. Mustang says the one place you feel safe or should feel safe. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, goodness. Arctic said, talking about she couldn't see well without her glasses. Arctic says, I had to drive from Oklahoma City to Fort Smith without my glasses once. Ronnie Millsap messed up in driving the car. Oh, Lord. Hide the women and children. Yeah, that is true. Junior says it's easier to kidnap skinny people. That is true. That is true. Let's see. Hey, Miss Barbara. Good to see you. She says, hello, everyone. Good to see you. Sorry I'm late. You're fine. Church tonight. You're fine, lady. Good to see you, Miss Barbara. I've been missing you. I've been missing everybody. My live streams have been very sporadic lately. But we'll try to get back on schedule. But it's good to have Miss Barbara here. Please check out Timmy's Legacy channel. Somebody's probably already thrown the link in. Always a pleasure to have Miss Barb here. Oh, now Miss Barbara says she's got to go find her glasses in the car now. Oh, goodness. All right. So let's see who we have next. This should be, hoping to have everything. So we did Dixie Lee. So this should be Stacy Arras. Yes. Okay. This may be the youngest person we featured tonight. So Stacy's been missing since July 17th, 1981 from Yosemite National Park in California. She's a white female. She was just 14 years old when she went missing. She would be 58 years old as of 2025. At the time she went missing, she was 5'5" tall and 120 pounds, with blonde hair and blue eyes. Her ears are pierced. It says she wears narrow upper and lower dental retainers. She did smoke at the time of her disappearance. Last known clothing was an off-white hooded pullover windbreaker with a horizontal zipper front pouch above the breast line, a tight-fitting white jersey blouse with a square necklace edged with quarter-inch white lace, pull-on shorts with intermittent vertical sky blue pinstripes and half-inch maroon and white stripes, size 8.5 or 9 gray hiking boots with rubber Vibram soles, a gold double-wrapped ankle bracelet, and possibly round blue stud earrings. She was carrying binoculars, a small Olympus camera with a multicolored embroidered neck strap, and possibly chewing gum and cigarettes. So that is very detailed information, which is good. So Stacy was last seen while visiting Yosemite National Park with her father and 6 others on July 27th, 1981. The group reached a cluster of cabins designed for overnight stay at Sunrise High Sierra Camp. They tied up their horses. They went indoors to freshen up. Stacy changed clothes and left the cabin, taking her camera with her so she could take photographs of the lake. She invited her father to join her, but he declined, and an elderly man from their group went with her instead. They went downhill towards the lake, and the rest of the group watched them from above. They saw Stacy's companion, this older gentleman, sit down. Stacy walked further on towards the lake. She went behind some trees. She disappeared from sight. After a few minutes, when she didn't return, the other members of the group went to look for her. An extensive search of the park, involving helicopters, dogs, and dozens of volunteers, turned up no indication of her whereabouts. The only trace ever found of her was the lens from her camera, and it was around the tree line area where she was last seen. She lived in Saratoga, California at the time that she disappeared. So this is just one of those where, although we know it's not possible, but just someone just vanishes into thin air. It's just crazy. And the smaller picture there on the side is an age progression to 54 years old. So it's not too far off, because she'll be 58 years old today, or 2025. And I do believe I was able to find an article with a little bit more information, a little bit more detailed description of when she disappeared. Once again, if the article will come up. Oh, it did. So this is from a website called StrangeOutdoors.com. And this article is from 2024. It says the bizarre disappearance of Stacy Arras from Yosemite National Park. In July 1981, 14-year-old Stacy Arras went out on a 4-day group horse riding trip with her father, George, to Yosemite National Park in California. Stacy and the rest of the group stopped for an overnight stop in the Sunrise Meadows area of the park. At some point in the late afternoon, Stacy decided to go for a short hike without her father to take some pictures of nearby lakes. She was never seen again. A gentleman, David Paulides, has extensively covered the story in his 411 books, videos, and radio interviews, and it is considered a cornerstone of 411 disappearance. Paulides has also heavily criticized the National Park Service for failing to release so apparently there's a big controversy with this, just from what I read from this article, about not releasing any information. I think he did a FOIA act and they wouldn't release any information. Sorry, I lost my place. So he has criticized this. David Paulides has criticized the National Park Service for failing to release the report on the case, and has appealed for its release via a FOIA, which was unsuccessful. The Arras case report is around 2,000 pages long, and despite 40 years having passed, it has never been released, unless it's been released after this a story article was written. So it has never been released, despite it being unlikely that the authorities are actively pursuing leads. Therefore, Paulides claims that a cover-up, now this is just his claim, that a cover-up has occurred for reasons unknown, and he is correct that after such a long passage of time, it is puzzling that they have not released any information. Stacy's disappearance is a baffling case because after a huge search in a relatively defined area, only a lens cap was found. No evidence of her skeletal remains, clothing, or camera, after decades have passed, has ever turned up. Given the scale of the NPS case file that remains under wraps, was it just simply that she went off trail and got lost in the wilderness? The area around Sunrise High Sierra Camp and Sunrise Lakes is rugged, with granite boulders everywhere, and it can be treacherous if you hike off trail to take a picture. Or was criminal activity or something, they say, supernatural involved? My two would be an accident or some kind of nefarious activity. Many questions remain about this disappearance, and Strange Outdoors hopes that one day the Park Service will release further information to allow more detailed theories to be assessed and even a potential resolution to be proposed. For now, the case remains an enigma. All right, so now we get to the part. So George and Stacy, George was her father, had planned a 4-day horse riding trip in the Yosemite area for some time. It was not unusual for the family to go hiking in the national parks, and after some personal troubles for Stacy, it may have been an opportunity for father and daughter to perhaps fix a strained relationship. They traveled to Yosemite on July 17th, 1981, and met up with the other horse riders at Tulum Meadows, together with a group lead, Chris Grimes. The group size is uncertain, with reports between 7 and 20 people. From there, they rode around 4 miles to the upper Cathedral Lakes area using the John Muir Trail. They stopped for some food at around 3 p.m. After riding for a few more hours, they stopped at some Sunrise High Sierra Camp cabins around 3 miles southeast of Tenaya Lake and about 1.5 miles from Sunrise Lakes. The group decided to freshen up after the ride, having planned to stay the night. It says Sunrise Camp is 9,400 feet above sea level, and the last one on the 50-mile High Sierra Camp loop. And 9 cabins. There's 9 cabins. The room for 34 guests. Blah blah blah. Okay. So a little bit about Stacy. Stacy was 14 years old at the time of her disappearance. Her parents were George and Carol. She had 2 sisters, Sandra and Stephanie, and a brother named George. The Arras family lived in Saratoga, California, which is just south of San Francisco. So Stacy cleaned up, she showered, changed her clothes. She told her dad that she would go for a walk towards the Sunrise Lakes to take some pictures with her camera. She was keen. She wanted to stretch her legs after the hours of being of the horse ride. She had spent most of the day in the saddle. An older member of the group named Gerald says he was 70 to 77 years old. Was sitting on a boulder about 100 feet away from the cabins, and Stacy thought it might be an idea to go walking with him. So the relationship with Gerald and Stacy is unclear, but it is likely that they had just met that day. However, he was also a Saratoga resident, so it's possible that they did know each other before this trip. She asked her dad if he wanted to go with her. He said he would pass. Her last conversation with him related to her footwear, where he advised her to change from her flip-flops to hiking boots. She agreed that would be a good idea. She was wearing an off-white pullover windbreaker, white jersey, blouse, leggings, and gray hiking boots. So everybody saw her walk over to the boulder with Gerald and take some pictures. Subsequently, she told him that she was going to go to a nearby lake for some more shots. He offered to accompany her. This was either a few hundred yards to the flooded lower Long Meadow, or the longer walk to Sunrise Lakes, which was about 1.5 miles away. It says the exact destination is unclear, which is at least 40 minutes from the camp. After a little while down the hill, around 20 minutes after they had set off, the elderly man felt tired and he had to sit down to get his breath. Said this wasn't surprising after, the high altitude, and he'd been riding the horse all day. Chris Grimes back at camp was tending to the horses in a corral. He did happen to see Stacy taking a picture, and he watched her as she went a little further down the hill before the trees obscured her, and he lost sight of her, and this was the last time she was ever seen. So just like that, she goes into the trees and is never seen again. So So after a while, when Stacy did not return, Gerald got concerned. He continued for a while in the direction that she had gone, expecting to find her quickly, but she was nowhere to be seen. So he returned to the cabin area and gathered the group for a search. The horse riding group had no luck. They reported her missing to park rangers. Gerald, which I believe is the elderly gentleman that was going to go hiking with her, told park officials that he had spoken to a group of people coming from the direction that Stacy had taken, but they had not seen her, and that was very concerning. Either she had gone off trail to take a picture or something else had happened. So I wonder if I'm not saying, but I wonder how extensively they questioned this group of people. A very large search involving 100 to 150 people, including 67 Mountain Rescue Association volunteers and sniffer dogs, were deployed over 10 days, starting on July 18th. They concentrated on a 3 to 5 square mile area around Sunrise Lakes. 3 helicopters were also used in the search, with the park's contract chopper in the air for over 40 hours. But these operations were scaled back on July 20th, when it was believed that the area had been well covered from the air. Ground searches began to be reduced from July 22nd, and the official search finally ended after a week of activity on July 26, 1981. Despite the efforts of the search and rescue teams, with over 8,000 man hours and at a at a cost of $100,000, the only thing ever found was the lens, or the lens cap, from Stacy's camera. It was just inside the tree line from where she walked into the area by the lake. The search and rescue operation was one of the largest in Yosemite National Park's history. So I just can't imagine. And it doesn't say, I don't know how deep this lake was, but it looks like if she just fell into the lake, I don't know, they would have found something. The camera, I don't know. It's just, this is so very bizarre to me. Sniffer dogs were unable to pick up any scent, and this was blamed on a lack of rainfall at the time that made the ground very dusty. There were no footprints or any other signs that Stacy had ever been in the area. So I guess that meant that also meant that they didn't find any other footprints from other people. But they said that Gerald, he talked to a group who were walking in the same direction, or coming from the same direction that Stacy was headed to. So you would have thought that their footprints would have been there. Rangers and searchers were puzzled, as after such a comprehensive search, trying to look into every crevice, rocky outcrop, and body of water, there was zero evidence. The area is rugged and strewn with granite, but even if she fell somewhere, you would have expected the ground searchers or dog teams to find something, like I said, like her camera discarded on the ground. Stacy's mother, Carol, was equally perplexed, saying that it was strange that even a small item like a gum wrapper or a windbreaker, her jacket, nothing turned up, nothing except the lens cap to her camera. So what happened to Stacy? So some theories, what they call misadventure. They say it is not inconceivable that Stacy, having left Gerald behind, decided to take a picture from an off-trail area or rocky outcrop to try and capture Sunrise Lakes. Perhaps she needed to attend a call of nature, maybe had to use the restroom. It says there is a lot of timber and granite in the area that can easily cause injury, but remains have never been found, even after so many years. She was wearing tooth braces, so if anyone did come up upon her skeletal remains, it will make it easier to identify if it was Stacy. Despite a very extensive search of the Sunrise Lakes area, no sign of her clothing, or camera has ever been located. An animal attack. This is an attack by a bear or mountain lion seems unlikely. There was no signs of a struggle, blood, or evidence of disturbed ground. It says about 300 to 500 black bears live in Yosemite's 750,000 acres, but there are no grizzly bears in California. It says a black bear's diet consists mainly of berries, grasses, nuts, and insects. It says black bears are naturally shy of humans, but when they learn they are a potential source of food, their behavior can change, and this can make them more dangerous. It does say attacks are rare, and it says nobody has been killed or seriously injured by a bear in Yosemite. So next we have foul play. It says it seems unlikely that Stacy was abducted or the victim of a homicide in the Sunrise Lakes vicinity, given the remoteness of the location. If an abductor wanted to take Stacy out of the park, the nearest road was miles away. Burying a body could have been possible, but would seem implausible. A member of the horse riding group, including Gerald, may have been the perpetrator, but until the case files are released, this is all just theory and speculation, what they call guesswork. Was it a voluntary disappearance? The Fresno Bee reported on July 28, 1981, that Stacy was having some family or school troubles and was missing her boyfriend. Stacy's mother, Carol, denied that Stacy had a serious boyfriend, but if she intended to disappear, why did she leave the camp in inappropriate footwear before her father intervened? It says there was a highway 3 to 4 miles away from the camp, but was Stacy just so fed up with being with her father that she concocted this plan to walk this 3 or 4 miles to the nearby road, somehow contact someone to pick her up at just the right time, and then just completely disappear? To me, that doesn't seem plausible, in my opinion. And if she did, who did she go off with? Why had no sign of Stacy ever turned up? And they say again, the scenario seems unlikely. So we're gonna forego this. There's supernatural theories. So some have proposed that the most likely theory is supernatural or an unexplained physical phenomenon like a portal or a Bigfoot, the usual suspects. Portal to another world, Bigfoot, aliens. Anyway, okay, so about the case files. So on February 22nd, 2011, David Politis requested the Arras case file from the National Park Service while researching his early missing 411 books. He asked for 10 categories of documents. He was denied this request on the grounds that it may, quote, interfere with future law enforcement proceedings. Now, what these law enforcement proceedings would be, I have no clue. Subsequently, according to Politis, an unnamed National Park Service special agent called him and said he would never get Stacy's file and it was being treated as a missing persons case. On May 16th of 2011, he requested a Freedom of Information Act appeal. And the Office of the Solicitor, based in Washington, D.C., issued a response on September 2011 denying this appeal. I'm not going to read. It was denied. This article is linked in the description box, so if you want to go and read it, it just gives a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo about why it was denied. But needless to say, it was denied. So Politis then claimed that former National Park Ranger Charles Farabee, who co-wrote the 2007 book Off the Wall, A Death in Yosemite, together with Michael Giglieri, must have had access to Stacy's file, and if this was the case, then the National Park Service would have been unable to withhold information from others that requested it. He argued that because the book had a substantial section covering the case, he should also have access to the relevant Arras files. So yeah, I'm just not, and it goes into more mumbo jumbo about, so yeah, I'm just not understanding why they didn't grant this gentleman or anybody the FOIA request for the files. This case is just very, very bizarre. I'm sure you guys have a lot to say about it. So let me get down in your comments. I don't know. I'm going to guess that, my opinion, unlikely that it's an abductor. In my opinion, unlikely it's an abductor, unlikely that it was voluntary. Mostly unlikely that it was an abductor. I mean, that's possible. So that would leave the accident. But I mean, how come they haven't found anything, any remains at all? All they found was the lens to the camera, or the lens cap. It's just so very bizarre. All right. I should have marked where I left off. Okay, there we go. Miss Barb, did you ever find your glasses? Chris says Yosemite National Park has a reputation as a place where people disappear. Yeah, I think. Now I don't know if Yosemite has a higher than average percentage of people that go missing, but a lot of people go missing in national parks. But Paulus, there it goes, says, is this case considered suspicious? I keep saying bizarre. That is the only word I can come up with. Yes, very suspicious. I know, suspicious, bizarre. It's just, I can't come up with anything that makes sense. I guess, like I said, the thing that would make the most sense to me is some kind of accident. But then again, like I said, why haven't they not found any remains or anything, any other evidence of her? It just doesn't make any sense. Thank you, Miss Heather. $1.99 super chat. I wanted to show some support. Wish I had more. Oh, honey, you're fine. Thank you so much for that. Let me find. Here we go. Thank you so much, ma'am. That is very sweet. Oh, there we go. Lost my place. Thank you so much, Miss Heather. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Sorry. My fingers aren't working on my phone tonight. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Miss Doodle says, please hit that like button. And if you're watching me play, please leave a comment below. If you're new here, please consider subscribing if you would like to learn more about missing persons and cold cases. Absolutely. Thank you, Mustang. Justice for Timmy D's and the Green Hearts. Yeah. Heavy sarcasm. Surprise, surprise from the Arctic. Yeah, FOIA denied. See, I wonder, I mean, but why would the National Park Service want to hide something? I mean, you know, it didn't mention anything about any, except during when the searches started, of any national park employees being around when she disappeared. So I mean, I don't know, unless they didn't want to be sued for, I don't know if they could be sued for anything if she had an accident. I'm sure they have some kind of a CYA clause, for that kind of thing. So I don't understand why they don't want to release the information. It makes absolutely no sense. Oh, nope. I want to delete that. There we go. Nope. There we go. Thank you, Miss Heather. Miss Heather says, I got to get going to run to the pharmacy. God bless. Much love, Southern Gal. Thank you for having me. Absolutely. You're welcome here anytime, Miss Heather. And I will promise, I will do my best to get back to today's lives. Um, I'm getting caught up. Uh-oh. Amber alert. Okay. So Arctic says Amber alert just issued out of Delaware. What's the name on it? I'll see if I can look at it right quick. Newcastle County. Um, this article is from 12 minutes ago. If it'll come up, hold on 1 second. And it probably won't let me share my screen, but if I can read it, is it Nola Dinkins? Oh my goodness. Okay, I hope this is the right one. Amber alert issued for 3-year-old girl in Newcastle County after reported gunpoint abduction, according to the police. Newark, Delaware, the Newcastle County Police have issued an Amber alert for 3-year-old Nola Dinkins on Tuesday night. According to police, officers responded to the 500 block of Gender Road for the report of a possible kidnapping. The person calling police reportedly stated that his 3-year-old daughter, Nola Dinkins, was abducted at gunpoint by an unknown white male described as approximately in his mid-40s and bald. Oh my God. Police say the suspect was last seen wearing a black hooded sweatshirt and gray basketball shorts and was armed with a firearm. The suspect reportedly entered an older model black or dark colored Ford or Chevy SUV, which appeared to have rust or dirt on the exterior. The vehicle was being driven by an unknown white female, according to police. Nola Dinkins is described as a black female, approximately 3 feet tall, weighing 25 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. She was last seen wearing a white t-shirt, black leggings, and white shoes with her hairstyle in a bun. Anyone with information is asked to call 911. Oh my, that is terrifying. So if this is the right one, I'm behind in comments, but so this little girl, and I wish I could share my screen. Hold on, I will put the link to this article in the chat. Oh no, I can't. Because I don't have this is from 6abc.com. You can just Google, I just Googled, you could Google Nola Dinkins, Nola Dinkins, abducted at gunpoint by an unknown white male and possibly getting into the vehicle driven by an unknown white female. This, guys, this is horrifying. Man, oh man. Whew. Yeah. Chris says, I'll pray that answers are coming soon on this recent one that is happening now. Yeah, this is terrifying. Terrifying. It's bad enough when it's like a parental abduction or, you know, or somebody that's known to them, but when it's a complete stranger that abducts a child at gunpoint, it's, I don't have words. Yep. I'm going back to this case we were talking about. Sorry, my mind is going in a million directions right now. Going back to Stacy's case, already said, look at Mara Murray all these years and still no sign of her. I know. Oh, so so Chris says on Stacy's case, I look at the Yosemite National Park offender. I wasn't aware that there was a Yosemite National Park offender. Wow. I'm going to have to look that up. Yes, definitely very strange. Chris says he thinks Carrie Stainer is a suspect who should be considered in Stacy's case. That name sounds familiar to me. Yes, absolutely. There it is. Prayers for the family. Yes. Prayers for that baby girl. Oh my goodness. Uh, Arctic says possibly to about Chris Stainer. It fits his method of operation. All right, so that was Stacy. All right. Next we have, and so the next two that we have are kind of connected. First, we're going to look, I believe it is Paul Henry Armstrong and then Stephen Lincoln Lombard. They both went missing. They worked at the same place, and there's a possible connection. So I'm going to read both of their Charlie Project information, and then I have an article about their boss and some things that he's been up to or was up to back then. So first we have Paul Henry Armstrong. He went missing on December 17th. December 17th, 1993, from Merced, California. He is a white male, 27. He was 27 years old when he went missing. He will be 59 years old as of 2025. At the time he went missing, he was 5'9" to 5'10", 150 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. He had a broken leg, and he was on crutches at the time of his disappearance. He was last seen wearing a white jacket with the word Raiders on the back and pink Kool-Aid stains on the sleeves, a light blue sweatshirt with a yellow UCLA logo, dark gray sweatpants, and blue sneakers. So Paul was last seen at his home on West 25th Street in Merced, California on December 17th, 1993. His girlfriend saw him before she left for work at 7:45 a.m. Approximately an hour later, his brother stopped by his house and found it empty, but Armstrong had left his wallet behind. He was supposed to meet his girlfriend for lunch later that day, but did not keep that appointment. And after that, he's been never been seen or heard from again. So just 2 hours, and this is the next woman I'm going to give you the information about. Just 2 hours after Paul disappeared, his co-worker Stephen Lombard vanished from Merced. His pickup truck was later found abandoned in a local Kmart parking lot. The men were both employed as tow truck drivers for RTS Towing. It says they were not close to each other. Their loved ones do not believe they would have gone anywhere together. And investigators are unsure whether these cases are related. But in this article, possible they're related. So both Armstrong and Lombard are considered to be missing under suspicious circumstances. Their cases are being investigated as homicides. Armstrong reportedly believed his co-workers were engaged in illegal activity at the time of his disappearance. And Lombard, the other fella, Stephen Lombard, did have a dispute with his boss on the day that he vanished. So Paul Armstrong's mother passed away in 2009, but his father and 7 siblings are still alive. Both cases are unsolved. So now we will go to Stephen Lombard. Let me find his. So this is Stephen Lombard. Once again, he also disappeared on December 17th, 1993 from Merced, California. He was 34 years old at the time. He went missing. He would be 65 years old. At the time he went missing, he was 5'9", 140 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. It said he had a light red mustache at the time of his disappearance. And he was last seen wearing a blue t-shirt and blue jeans. So Stephen was last seen in Merced on December 17th, 1993. Excuse me. He left his home to go to a towing yard on Yosemite Parkway. He planned to pick up his paycheck and do some Christmas shopping and then meet his wife. He did arrive at work, but he was unable to collect his check due to a clerical error. He never returned home, has never been seen or heard from again. He lived on Langtree Avenue, northwest of Merced at the time of of his disappearance. His hobbies included panning for gold in Mariposa County. So once again, just 2 hours before Stephen disappeared is when Paul Armstrong disappeared. Once again, they were both employed as tow truck drivers for RTS Towing, and they were not close. So Stephen's maroon and white 1965 Ford F-250 truck was found abandoned once again in a Kmart parking lot in South Merced following his disappearance. There was a cup of coffee on the console. The truck's keys were inside. The windows were rolled down. The door was left unlocked, which is uncharacteristic of Stephen Lombard to leave the doors unlocked. And once again, both men are considered to be missing under suspicious circumstances. So within 2 hours on the same day, these two gentlemen disappeared. They were not, no, they worked together, but they were not, said they weren't close. They weren't really friends. They just worked together. So now let me find the, hopefully this article will come up. All right, so this article is from October of 2009. And it's actually about the tow company owner, but it does have some information and some possible implications about what could have happened to these two gentlemen. It says tow company owner's case gets more complicated. In a dramatic escalation of events, Mexican state police arrested a female friend of RTS Towing, which is the tow company that the two gentlemen work for. Adds Randall Loy Wright as Merced County Sheriff's investigators reopened the 1982 drowning case of his 6-year-old stepson. The new disclosures complicate an already twisted legal tale. Deputies have also been trying to find Wright's wife, who went missing last month. And they're trying to solve a homicide case in which two of Wright's workers, the two gentlemen we just discussed, vanished 16 years ago, and their bodies have never been found. Wright, 59, has not been named a suspect or charged in connection with the homicide case or the disappearances. Teresa, a woman named Teresa, a 45-year-old woman who deputies say is Wright's girlfriend, was arrested in San Felipe, Mexico, after police found his missing Mercedes at a vacant house that she oversees as a property manager. Wright took the $106,000 car to a Fresno dealer for repairs. However, sheriff spokesman Tom McKenzie said he had stopped making payments. Someone then drove the car away in December from the lot. Try to get down to so talking about this owner, what was his name again? Randall Loy Wright. Says he says they've been pursued by investigators because of their suspicion that Wright was involved with the disappearance of his wife Karen or the death of his employees, the two gentlemen. Says as part of their investigation, detectives are also reviewing the autopsy report from the drowning death of the 6-year-old stepson. In addition, a search warrant for Wright's DNA also became public. The terse law enforcement language describes an unsettling chronology involving Wright and another man and the two missing employees. Sheriff's Detective Lane Clark wrote in the report that Jake Malone, described as, quote, a witness in the investigation, said he saw Gary Barker, Stephen Lombard, Paul Armstrong, and Wright go into a shed at RTS Towing on December 17th, 1993, which was the day that the two men disappeared. Malone said Barker and Wright came out and locked the door, and he never saw Armstrong or Lombard again. Wright drove his Lexus sedan into the shop, closed the doors, and drove off a little a little bit later. He was gone for about 4 hours, according to the warrant. Barker drove Armstrong's truck away from the yard. And Malone said he believed Wright was angry with Lombard and Armstrong for filing a complaint with the State Employment Development Department. Fife explained that he represents Wright on the 2 cases. He didn't have a comment. He said everything else to me is speculation. Wright's wife disappeared after making a trip to San Felipe, Mexico on February 9th, where the couple had vacation homes. She claimed in court documents that her husband had threatened her and physically. There's DV saying that he had told her that, quote, he could take her life and nobody would know. She also said her husband broke her hand and ripped out chunks of her hair. So I just wanted to read that. Kind of ties together these 2 gentlemen, possibly Mr. Randall Lloyd Wright here, possibly, allegedly, may have had something to do with the possible deaths of these 2 gentlemen that are missing. So I thought that was very interesting and horrifying. All right, let me get caught up. I'm so behind. Oh my goodness, it is Mr. Steve. Oh, it is Mr. Steve. Welcome back, stranger. It's good to have you here. Mr. Steve says, Ellie will look further into this Amber Alert. What father gives his child up, gun or no gun? Absolutely. That is just horrifying. Oh my gosh, I'm just so excited to see Mr. Steve. We've missed Mr. Steve. Good to have you here, sir. I know you've been out doing the good work. Oh, that's why it sounded familiar. Okay, Arctic said Carrie Stainer is Steven Stainer's brother. Gotcha. Yes, we've all missed Mr. Steve. Absolutely. Absolutely do check out. Come up. Sorry, I'm working off my phone here. Yes, please do. Okay, so Chris says Carrie's brother Steven Stainer was abducted by Kenneth Parnell. Who? Yes. All right. It's all coming back to me now. Thank you for jogging my memory. Yes, everybody is glad to see Mr. Steve. Oh, I hope I didn't miss Junior. He says he's way up past his bedtime, or up way past his bedtime. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Junior. Always a pleasure to have Junior here. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Mr. Steve says, hello, everyone. Finishing up my book, Moving for Idiots, my 1,000-day easy move plan. You've been moving all this time? Oh my goodness. Bless your heart. Oh goodness. I will read that book. I will buy it. Can you, are you going to be selling autographed copies of it? Oh goodness. Oh, it's good to have Mr. Steve back. Oh, Chris says he found a YouTube video about Waffle House that Mr. Steve would like. We almost ate at the Waffle House the other day. Saturday, we had to go do our personal grocery shopping, and we went to eat lunch afterward, but we ate Mexican. We were trying to decide between Waffle House and Mexican, and I was craving tacos, so we had Mexican. Yeah, Miss Barbara's got red flags for the these 2 gentlemen we were talking about, Paul Henry Armstrong and Stephen Lincoln Lombard. Yeah, hands up if you think this Mr. Wright possibly, allegedly, could have had something to do with their disappearances and possible demises. Yep. Paula's red flaggy. Yeah, Doodle says now she wants waffles. Me too. Now I want waffles. And we had sloppy joes tonight for a barbecue sloppy joes for supper tonight. Waffles sounds good. God, I cannot see. It's so hard for me to see on my phone. Yeah, Mustang says, Mr. Steve, are you back? We hope so. But we know he's got stuff to do, important stuff to do. Okay, Mr. Steve says, I should be caught up with cold case work and the move by August, and then I would be more active on YouTube. Excellent. Hey, don't worry about it, Mr. Steve. Whenever you do come back, be back. We will be here for you. Absolutely. We are always here for Mr. Steve. All right. I think I'm caught up. So we will go to our. Yeah, Doodle says it's crazy how much stuff you accumulate over the years. This is true. All right. Next we have. This should be Ermlinda Angelica Alvarado. So Ermlinda has been missing since April 10th, 2019, once again from Merced, California. She is an Hispanic female. She was 33 years old at the time she went missing. She'll be 39 years old as of 2025. When she went missing, she was 5'6" tall and 110 pounds. Excuse me, with brown hair and brown eyes. Her ears are pierced. She has braces. Her nickname is Irma. She was last seen wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, black pants, and pink and black Nike sneakers. I got a gnat or something flying around my face. Anyway, it said that she has struggled with an addiction to Vicodin. She spent a few days in a rehab center weeks before she went missing. So Irma was last seen in Merced on April 10th, 2019. She had rented a red Hyundai Elantra while her husband was on a business trip to Texas. At around 2:25 a.m., she called her sister and said she was driving to Florida to visit their brother. And then a few minutes later, she called her husband and said she wanted to drive to Texas to be with him. So she called her sister first and said she was going to go to Florida to visit their brother. And then a few minutes later, she called her husband and said that she wanted to drive to Texas to be with him. So he apparently told her to go back home and pick him up at the airport when he arrived home. At 9:37 a.m., she posted a video on one of her social media accounts, and it showed her alone in the desert near Blythe, Blythe, California. So that's scary. So her sister kept trying to call her, and later that morning, Irma finally answered. So she said that she had been in a car accident and two men had tried to take her car and keys, and that she had to run for her life. So almost 3 hours later, she answered a call from her brother-in-law and said a friend had picked her up and they were en route to Los Angeles. And so this is the last time anyone spoke to her. So she told her sister that she'd been in a car accident. Two men tried to take her car. She had to run for her life. And then 3 hours later, she answered a call from her brother-in-law and said a friend had picked her up and they were en route to Los Angeles. And then this was the last time anyone spoke to her. So very strange. So Irma was supposed to pick her husband up at the Fresno Yosemite International Airport when he returned home from Texas. But she wasn't there when he arrived. She has never been seen or heard from again. On April 11th, the rented Hyundai was found abandoned off eastbound Interstate 10 in a remote desert area between the towns of Blythe and Indio, California, near the Arizona border. Irma's purse, her ID, cash, and credit cards were inside, but her cell phone was missing. Her family has taken numerous trips to search the desert in Riverside County where the car was found. In one of the searches, they found Irma's shoes, but no sign of her. So this reminds me, who was it? Was it Dylan Rounds or the other one where they found his shoes? And that's all that's ever been found of him so far. Or was it the other one? I know there's two of them that went missing around the same time. Um, Police stated that the area was frequented by drug mules. So Irma has 8 children between the ages of 6 and 23. 5 of them are her biological children, and she adopted the other 3. It's uncharacteristic of her to leave without warning or not to be in touch with her family by phone, text, or social media. Her case obviously is unsolved. So if you have any information, you can call the Merced Police Department at 209-385-6912. Oh, Aiden Clune. Yes, Aiden Clune. Yes, that was the one, right, that they found the shoes so far, and that's all that's been found. Yeah, I knew that Aiden and Dylan Rounds, they kind of disappeared at the same time, and I don't think Aiden's case got as much coverage as Dylan Rounds. All right, let me see if I had an article on I think maybe I do have an article on Irma. Okay, so this article is from August of 2019. A Merced mother of 8 has now been missing for nearly 4 months. A 33-year-old, well, it's been longer than that now. A 33-year-old Ermlinda Alvarado was reported missing on April 11th. Her family says they are hoping for the best, but with each passing day, their faith is being tested. Sorry, I got to get rid of some ads. Her husband, Jose, says April 11th, around 2 in the morning, is when I called and reported. Sorry, ads keep popping up. Is when I called and reported her missing. We haven't had contact with her since. While her husband was on a work trip in Texas, police says Alvarado rented a car, but it was found days later on eastbound Highway 10 near the California and Arizona border. Since her disappearance, Jose and her sisters Maria and Susan have taken trips to the desert in Riverside County where the vehicle was discovered. They have passed out flyers and searched for anything that would help find her. After working with a volunteer private investigation service, police found a location where her phone pinged to a nearby tower. The family then used Google Maps to pinpoint an area to search. Jose says, we searched it. It was hot. It was hard, but we did whatever we could. Then a break in the case. After a 3-mile hike in the desert and a mile to the top of a mountain, the family discovered her shoes. Oh, this reminds me so much of Aiden's case. Then a break after one hike. Okay, so the family discovered her shoes. Investigators told the family it's a heavy traffic area for drug mules. Maria says it's right next to the border. It's very terrifying to just think of every scenario that could have happened. The family tells CBS 47 members of the Riverside County Sheriff's Office searched the area but came up empty. Since her disappearance, her sisters have learned that Ermlinda struggled with an addiction to pain medication. Maria says, I know that Vicodin came into play. After she disappeared, I started looking at my mom's medication and they were missing. Just weeks before she went missing, the family placed her on a 72-hour hold inside a rehab center. So right now, here's what we know. On April 8th at 7:30 a.m., Ermlinda dropped her husband off for a business trip at the Fresno airport. On April 9th, around noon, home video cameras show her leaving her house. She was carrying only a brown paper bag under her arm. And around 7 that night, her cousins saw her in Merced. Sometime afterwards, she turned off the location tracker on her phone. On April 10th at 2:25 in the morning, she called her sister Maria. She said she was driving to Florida to visit her brother. And then minutes later, this when she called her husband and said she wanted to drive to Texas to be with him. And then at 9:37 that morning was when the video was posted on her social media account, showing her alone in the desert near Bly, California. Then later that morning, she finally answered a call from her sister. Maria, the sister, says she told me she was in the fender bender and two gentlemen tried to take her car and keys away, and she had to run for her life. And then almost 3 hours later is when she answered the call from her brother-in-law. And she told the brother-in-law a friend picked her up and she was on her way to Los Angeles. And this is the last time anyone heard from her. Jose, her husband, says we can't lose the faith. It's hard, but we cannot lose faith. So once again, anyone with information about the case is urged to call the Merced Police Department at 209-385-8800, and you can remain anonymous. So I'm just wondering, and I'm not saying, but it says she did have an addiction. The place she was at was known for drug mules. Is it possible that she may have been? I don't know. Because to me, the story, I'm not saying I don't believe her. I mean, obviously, we don't victim blame or bash, but just her, she was just all over the place with their story, with the, she told her brother-in-law that she was going to go to Florida to visit, or she told somebody she was going to go to Florida to visit somebody, and then minutes later she called her husband and said she was going to drive to Texas to be with him, and then she answered the phone and said that these men tried to take her car. She had to run for her life, and then she said that a friend came and picked her up. So it's just kind of all over the place with with the stories. Just very, very sad, very sad, very strange. But let me see what you guys have to say. All right, there we go. There was where I was at. Oh, Arctic says he hates moving. Says my house is paid for, so I'll probably just stay here. I don't have the time or patience to pack everything up and move, only to get myself into. Yeah, I can understand that. Oh, I hope I didn't miss Miss Paula. She says, "Love you guys. I have blood labs in the morning, and I need to go to bed. Love you. We love you too, Miss Paula. Thank you very much for being here, dear." Yeah, Miss Barb says that's why you just throw everything out. Um, let's see. Everybody's talking about moving and throwing stuff out. Yeah, Doodle says relapse is possible and always so dangerous. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Next. Oh, I guess, was that the last one? That was the last one, apparently. Let me make sure. Yep, that was the last one. Okay, well, we made it through that in an hour and a half. We did good. All right, I'm going to see if I can find any more information on the Amber Alert, or put in chat or whatever if anybody's heard anything else. Trying to find the most recent. This one's from CBS News. If it'll come up. Get rid of the ads. Just says an Amber Alert has been issued for a 3-year-old girl in Newcastle County, Delaware on Tuesday night. Police said 3-year-old Nola Dinkins was abducted at gunpoint on the 500 block of Gender Road by a man at around 7:15 p.m. Police described the man who allegedly abducted Dinkins as a bald white male in his 40s with peach fuzz. He was last seen wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, gray basketball shorts. Police said the man fled in an older black or dark colored Ford or Chevy SUV. Appeared to have rust or dirt on the exterior of the vehicle. The SUV was being driven by a white woman, according to the police. Little Nola is 3 feet tall, about 25 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. She was last seen wearing a white t-shirt, black leggings, white shoes, with her hairstyle in the bun. Once again, police are urging people to call 911 if they have information. So no further updates that I can find. That is just horrifying. All right, let me get caught up once again. We will get out of here. Thank you so much. Oh, there it is. Thank you so much. I still not. Mr. C says, not saying anyone I know is a hoarder, but I know the move was an uphill battle while looking at four kitchen tables. Good grief. That's a lot of tables. Oh, goodness. All right. So, like I said, for anybody who wasn't here, may have come in late or missed it, barring anything coming up, Friday night, we're going to do True Crime After Dark. We're going to be talking about, once again, yesterday was the 4-year anniversary that Jamie Valdez has been missing from here in Arkansas, from Boonville, Arkansas. And then yesterday was also 30 years that Morgan Nick has been missing. That case has been going on. So we'll talk about that Friday night and whatever else is happening in the true crime world. So plan for that. Hopefully nothing comes up. So we will plan on doing that. I'll try to get, I've been trying to get some more videos uploaded, but like I said, with my once again, my farm connection has been very, very sketchy. And I was trying to record some videos the other day and just couldn't, StreamYard would not work. And I just got frustrated and just threw everything down. But I'll try to get some videos recorded to upload this week. And then, like I said, Friday, we'll plan on doing True Crime After Dark to talk about Jamie's case and Morgan Nick's case and anything else. Thank you, Miss Barb. Absolutely. So thank you to you. I can't talk. Thank everybody for being here. Thank you, lurkers. Thank you, everybody in chat. Thank you, mods. Everybody with wrenches. Thank you, replay crew. We love our replay crew. I should be getting my outro ready. I got to find it. And as always, if I can find it, it's hard to find stuff on the phone. As always, we'll leave it on a little lighter note with the outro. Pictures of the fur babies, Sir Tigger and Little Biscuit. So everybody have a good week. And I will see you guys hopefully Friday night. Thanks, guys.